believe me, the shit I've seen, I understand why. No, like that's not even a pun. Like I've literally seen shit all over a fucking toilet, and not in the toilet, like on it. Hey y'all, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. If you if you're returning, welcome back. Today I want to get a little personal. So the word of the day today is resilience. It's like just being persistent, being dedicated, being diligent, and being able to take a lot of shit. And I say all of these things to say that I think I am a very resilient person. I feel that I have been through a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't be able to process in the way I have processed them and healed from them. But at the same time, I'm stepping into this phase of my life where I want to make my life easier because I feel like I've already had a hard enough life. And it's hard at times because, you know, when you're on this road to self-discovery, this road of self-discovery and, you know, healing and trying to be the best version of you, I feel like there's always things that pop up to test like how far you've come in your battles. Like how far have you come? Like what did you really learn your lesson? Did you really apply everything that happened to you? And I say that to say, because I'm just gonna give a little mini story time because you know I always got a story to tell. There was an ex of mine from like a long time ago. Because me and Mike, we've been together for 7 years. So this is like a super long minute ago, like probably like 10 years ago. But this is like, yeah, probably like 2 years before I met Mike. We had broke up, and it was like one of the worst heartbreaks that I've ever experienced. But me and this person had like an on again, off again relationship for me to let that go. And I say that to say I kept following the same toxic patterns, the same routines, the same everything, and I just wasn't getting rid of old baggage to make room for the good shit. I wasn't getting rid of like all my toxicity and, you know, all the bad things to make room for the positive things to like make their way into my life. I say that to say whenever you're on a road to like a breakthrough, or you know, when something really like good shit is really about to come to you, making mad noise. I hope y'all can't hear it. I'm so sorry if you can't hear it. I'm sorry. But usually when some good shit is about to happen for you, usually people from your past, they pop up to like kind of, you know, people that you disassociated yourself with or let go because of, you know, evil, toxic behaviors that they've displayed in the past that don't resonate with the person that you are. They usually pop up when some good shit is about to happen to you or you're doing really good. And I say that to say, a few weeks ago, my mom, she ran into this specific person that I'm referencing, and they had asked for my contact information. And shout out to my mama, lady Mama Leash. She held it down, and she did not. She was like, no, I cannot do that. But I'm glad that she did, because I did not want that to happen. I did not want any dealings with that person anymore. I just feel like, but I also felt like that was a test, like to see if I had learned my lesson, which like I clearly did, because bye. But I just feel like whenever, and I feel like this weird like transition is happening with me right now, where I just feel like everything is just falling into place, if that makes sense. But at the same time, I'm still working for the things that I want, because listen, I work Monday to Friday and the goal is to not have a job. I don't want to have a job. I'm tired of this shit. This I've been working, y'all. If you think about it, I've been working. I'm about to be 29. I've been working since I was like 15. Like I always had a job. Like I just was always taught that you need to work, you need to have income you need to, if you want to have a good life, you have to work hard, which is true. I feel like that is true, but I feel like with inflation and how the cost of living is just going up, it's not going down, it's kind of pushing people to try to find other ways of income. I.e. me, I'm one of those people. It made me become more consistent on YouTube because I feel like, you know what, I'm spending all this time working, but I'm not really working towards anything that's just mine. That's just something that I own. I'm helping fulfill someone else's dream by working for a company, right? Which is like, I'm not shaming nobody that works a 9 to 5. Shoot, I work with myself, so I'm not that's not what this is. But it's just saying that, sometimes people feel like you can't do both. Like, and for a long time, I was that person. I felt like I could not pursue my dreams and work at the same time, which is like why I dropped out of college really young. I think I went to college for like maybe a semester when I was like 19, and I was like, oh, I'm not going back to this shit. I'm just gonna work and just build my life from there, which was like the worst mistake. If I have because listen, I live my life with, I have a few regrets, I ain't gonna lie. But that's like my biggest regret is like dropping out of school. Because now looking at it, one of my closest friends, she just got her master's at 28. And if I would have just stayed in school, I would have a bachelor's, I would have associates under my belt. Like I would have, higher education under my belt, so at least I can get a more cushiony job, even though I feel like my job is kind of cushy. Like I get to work from home most days. I don't have to deal with people in person, which I absolutely love because, Lord, I used to work with people in person. But I just feel like with all the prices of everything going up and everything becoming more expensive, it's really hard for, I don't know what they call my generation. I was born in the 90s, early 90s. So I don't know if I'm like a millennial or Gen Z, whatever the fuck they call it. But like, it's becoming harder for us. So it's kind of discouraging too, like when older people are like, oh, why don't you have some kids? Why don't you do this? Like, why don't you da da da? Like, I remember, like, me and Mike like trying to move. It was so difficult because we had wanted to, like, the initial thought was to stay in New York. We were gonna stay in New York because that's where our families are. Both of my parents, they have health issues, so I want to be able to be close to them, but I need my own place at the same time. But it was really, really hard because if y'all never lived in New York, listen, New York has to be the most expensive, probably between New York and Los Angeles. That's the only other place I could think of that is that expensive to live. Like, we were looking at apartments and there was like studios for like $2,500 a month. Like a studio, like a fucking box. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, I never understood that. Like, it was so weird to me. But anyways, it's like everything is going up. So like, when we looked for a place, it was really, really hard because like my parents were like a little upset because I decided to move to Jersey because it was cheaper. And they were upset, but I was like, well, if I have $2,000 rent, are you gonna help me pay it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though me and Mike is paying the rent, but just like, that's insane. That's insane. Because even if we split it in 50-50, right? Like, that's $1,000 a month going to just a place to stay. That's not going towards like groceries or like transportation or any of that. It's just going to you having a place to stay. Like, and it's like at a certain point, it's like, yo, please. And it's like, I feel so bad for like those households, right? That have like only like one working person, or like, like, is one person taking all of the weight? Because that's really, really rough. Like, I can only imagine, because at least me and Mike both work, so it's not as bad, but it is bad because people always ask us like, why don't you have kids? Like, why haven't you guys have kids yet? And I'm like, kids are fucking expensive. Shit, we could barely afford to maintain our lifestyle. Like, how do you, like, what? Like, are you gonna pay for them? Are you gonna send them to daycare? You gonna fucking pay for their schooling? Even though I have great benefits from my job, I'm not gonna lie. If I have kids, like, I feel like I will be okay. But it's like also too, like, it's so much, like, and it's like now I was watching this video. I'm gonna try to link it in the description box if I can find it in my history, to be honest, because I watched it like 2 weeks ago. But it was scientists reacting to a doctor talking about how 51% of women now are not having children, like over at 30, like under 30, like 51% of women right now are not having children younger than 30. And people are like, oh, this is so crazy because blah, blah, blah. Like, because you know, a lot of people, they do have kids in their 20s, which I never saw that for myself anyways, to be honest. Even before inflation, all this shit or whatever, I didn't see that happening for myself because I just always, I had saw a lot of situations with like some of my siblings and the way they would bring up their children and like their situations that they were in. And it kind of deterred me from wanting to have children. I'm gonna be completely honest, like for the greater half of my life, I always said I'm never having kids. Like I don't even want these problems. Like, and which is like, there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't open up to the idea until I actually got with my current boyfriend because, you know, we have a different type of relationship. So it's like, I feel like my boyfriends before, like it would have just been toxic. Like it would have been a toxic baby mom, baby daddy situation. And who wants that? Like who wants that if you can avoid it, right? And you know, it's harder too, I feel like, for us now because everything is so fucking expensive. And I'm tired of old people saying, well, you just have to work for things. Let me tell you something, fucking Gladys. Rent is not fucking $200 any fucking more. Okay? You know, if you could find a decent apartment for at least $1,200, that is like a gem. A gem. And I'm talking like 1 bedroom or like even some studios. It depends on your living situation. Like if it's just you, then maybe some like a studio. I'll probably, like if I lived alone, I probably would have had a studio in New York for like maybe a little bit more than what I pay here. But I don't know, it depends. Cause listen, rent is not getting cheaper. Like New York is so fucking expensive now. Like me and Mike were looking at 1 bedroom apartments, and the most decent one that I saw, like in a decent location where it's like easier for us to get to, like places that we need to go, they're charging like $1,600 for like 1 bedrooms in the Bronx. In the Bronx, like what the hell kind of shit is this? Apartments in the Bronx were never that expensive. Like no shade to the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx. Like I love the Bronx, but like it's just crazy, like how everything is like going up. Like even like I was telling my friend this. We was talking about this. We went out for dinner Friday, and I was like, yo, like every time I go grocery shopping, I spend at least $200 now. And it never was like that. Like when, even like in the past, like I'm talking like in the past year, like from when, like, because me and Mike moved in June of 2021. So like from now to then, we're now in April of 2022. Like it's been like only like 10 months. Even when we first moved in, I would only spend like 120 something at the grocery store, like maybe weekly or even bi-weekly if they had like good enough deals on like meat and stuff where I didn't have to keep going back and forth. I would probably spend like 125. But now it's like, it's insane, like what they're charging for stuff. I bought a bottle of kombucha the other day and that shit was $5. And I'm like, yo, stuff was never this expensive. And it's like, don't let you have like a freaking like pescatarian or like a vegetarian lifestyle. Oh, bitch, it's over for you. Like the artificial meat be more than the actual meat. Like I feel for y'all because if you're able to stick through it, through all of this, like kudos to you. And it's just crazy now because I just feel like it's like, yo, like this shit doesn't make any sense. And the worst part about it is that like the government's not making it easier for anyone. They're not raising the minimum wage. They're not raising public assistance for people that actually need it. They're not raising anything, and it's really, really difficult for people right now. And also too, like to go off on that, I don't understand how people are like just so evil and mean at this point in time. Like, bro, we are in a whole fucking pandemic. Yeah, Corona, like, it's slowing down. Like, from what I heard, the Omicron wasn't as bad as the other shit. But we still in a fucking, like, we still in a pandemic, bro. Like, it's still regulations that are in place, even though they've been lifting the hell out of them, which I don't understand if it's like so contagious. But I'm just not gonna even get into that because then y'all gonna hear my conspiracy theory stuff and I'm already like rambling. I don't know, I just wanted to get in front of the camera and talk about this also too because I can't sleep. and I was trying to take a nap and it just didn't work. And like, this is like the stuff that I be thinking about all day, every day. And I just feel like, you know, in this world that we live in now, people are also like not compassionate. Like people lack empathy. And it's really, really, really sad because no one thinks about these people. Like, no one thinks about how like people are literally here struggling all the time. Like, not even talking about like mental health. Like, the homeless situation in New York is crazy. It is rampant. Like, I remember, because I grew up, I was born and raised in New York. I remember like growing up, it was never as bad as it is now. Like, you could go to certain places and it be like you won't see no like homeless people on the street or whatever the case is. Now in New York, almost every corner has a homeless person. Like, almost every damn corner. When I go to visit New York, I have to take the PATH train to 33rd Street. When you get off at 33rd, if you live in Jersey, you know. But when you go in that corridor going to the New York lines, you see at least 3 or 4 homeless people just there alone, right? And then like you go up, it's more outside. Like, it's so insane right now. And this governor, mayor, Batman Adams, he's talking about he's trying to clean up the city, but it's like, how are you gonna do that if you don't have no place to put these people? And it's really, really messed up because I've been in the shelter system as an adult. A lot of these people too, they don't even want to go through that. And believe me, the shit I've seen, I understand why. No, like, that's not even a pun. Like, I've literally seen shit all over a fucking toilet. And not in the toilet, like on it. The shit I've seen, I completely could understand how someone would not want to put themselves in that situation. And also too, like, I feel like the way they set up these programs and stuff for people is like jail. Like, it's literally like, I'm gonna talk a little bit about, like, I'm sorry y'all, my alarm went off from my bills, but it's basically like the way they set up the system is like jail. Like, it's literally like you go and like they clock your movements. You can't come out past a certain time. It's like insane. And these are like adult facilities. That's the part that's really like, is these are adults. Like, how are you gonna tell a grown ass person they can't come out this time and they won't have no place to sleep? Like, that's fucking crazy to me. Like, that's insane. It's like really like, it feels like you're in jail. Then you meet the people that are in there, and it's like some people, they've been there for like, I remember like when I was in a family shelter in Harlem, my mom and my brother and my dad. And so, I'm sorry. Oh, child, I don't know what's going on with me. Let me drink some water. I remember there was this lady, and she was like how she lived there for like 13 years. I'm not exaggerating. I swear to God, she was like that. She lived in this adult shelter for 13 years. And I was like, yo, she is insane. Because the way it's set up is like, all right, so like the way it would be like where I was at, if everyone in the family is adults, like there's no children in the family, then you're more than likely going to go to an adult family shelter, right? So imagine this, right? It's like 5 families living on one floor. You and your family, first of all, that's already uncomfortable, especially if everyone's grown. Y'all all staying in like probably one room the size of possibly like a super small boxy studio apartment, or maybe like a hotel room, like, because some of these places are like used to be hotels and stuff. And so like imagine that. So it's like there's no bathroom in there. Also, I need you to understand that. So it's like 5 families living like that on one floor, and y'all all have to share one bathroom and one kitchen, if you even have a kitchen that works. Because I remember like when I was in a shelter one time, we didn't have a working oven. So it was crazy because I remember I had tried to get public assistance. I had tried to get food stamps because I'm like, well, I'm in a shelter. Like, yeah, I'm working, but I'm also trying to save to get a place. So I'm thinking like, oh, like they might give me some food stamps. You know how much these people gave me? Mind you, I was making minimum wage at this time. You know how much these people gave me? $16 a month. That's not a joke. That's not a pun. They literally gave me $16 a month in food stamps. Mind you, I was living in a homeless shelter, and I was supposed to be saving for a place, and I was basically supporting my parents because at this time they were not working. And they gave me $16 a month. And they wouldn't give my mom anything because I was on, basically we were on the same case, so they were like, oh, your daughter makes this. But mind you, I'm making minimum wage. Like I literally was making $15 an hour. So it was just insane. And it's just like stuff like that that they do is like they set you up to fail. And it's really super sad too, because like they offer these like different types of programs and stuff, like, oh, like we can set you up for this program or this program or this program. But let's keep it T, sis. If you ain't got Section 8 or you're not going into housing, you're more than like, it's still gonna be hard for you to find an apartment because a lot of places don't even take these programs. And so like I remember like we were in a shelter, we had got this program, it was called Link, right? And it was, the way it works is like the government pays a certain amount of money. It's kind of like how Section 8 and all those other housing programs work. The government pays a certain amount and then you pay a certain amount based on your income, right? And we could not find an apartment. We had looked for an apartment for maybe a whole year, like literally just looking for someone that took, like me and my mom would go to like different like renting offices, we would call places, like we could not find a place for nothing. And so like there was like one of the housing, she was like one of the housing like supervisors where we were at, and we were trying to like find a place. And she was like, oh, like I was like, yo, I really need to move because it was so bad. I had got into like an argument with the social worker there because she was so unprofessional, she was so disgusting, her attitude was so nasty, and I just was fed up because I was like, bitch, I already done lost my home, I ain't got nothing else to lose, and I'm about to fuck you up in here. Like it really got to that point. And she was like, I know you want to move, blah blah blah, this and the third. She knew this lady that was renting out her basement, so we wound up moving into this basement. Mind you, it was janky as fuck. Oh my god, the toilet would break every other day. It was so bad, y'all. Like I'm gonna do a story time about this because this lady was the worst landlord I've ever experienced. And believe me, I didn't live in the hood. Like I done seen some shit, but I never saw no shit like this. And so yeah, so we stayed there for a while, but then basically we had to call 311 on her because our whole house like flooded and like she was not responding to us. Her family lived upstairs. They would never answer the door. Like when we, like it was this weird shit, yo. And so it was like our whole basement had flooded. I like lost almost everything, almost all my shoes, some clothes that got wet. Like it was just so bad. And so we had called 311 one day. I came to inspect the apartment, and the guy that came, he was like, oh, you can't even live here. This is technically not even legally an apartment because there's only one way for you to get in and one way for you to get out. So if there's a fire, you don't have no other way to get out. If there's a fire blocking that doorway, then you have no other way to get out except to try to get out the window. But the window was like super, super small. Like, so from there we had to pack up and go back. And this time around it was better because we wound up, my mom wound up getting into housing because, and it's so weird too because it's like you'll talk to these people and they'll feel like they are helping you, but they're really not. Because even when we had first went there, the housing coordinator, she had asked my mom, oh, like, have you ever had a felony? Have either you ever had felonies, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, no, like, I never had a felony. Like, she was like, I did a really long time ago. And she was like, oh, you can't even apply for housing. But mind you, when we go to the next place, they let my mom apply for housing, and she actually got in because my mom is actually disabled. And I'm just like, yo, like, why did they never tell us this? Like, we could have been moved or whatever. So we was only in another place like maybe like a year and a half, and we moved into public housing, and even that is a scam. Like, it's better than the alternative, which is like a family shelter or something, but even that's a scam. Like, all of this government subsidized programs, all of this shit, affordable housing, all this shit is a scam. Heavy on the scam. Like, the government is the biggest scammers out here. Like, you see my scam story time? They even bigger scammers than that nigga. Like, they just scam at everybody, and it's so bad. And it makes me so sad sometimes because I get like survivor's remorse because I went through a lot of shit, and I feel bad because I was able to overcome it. But it's like at the same time I'm proud of myself, but it's like also I feel bad in a way because what about the people that didn't have the resilience that I had? That's why the word of the day today is resilience, because like what about the people that didn't have the resilience that I had, and they broke down and they hurt themselves, or you know, they hurt someone else because they were just so angry with their situation. Because I know how that feels, because I was at a point where I just wanted to hurt people. Like, I not wanted to hurt people because I've never been that type of person, but I was just angry with the situation that I was in, and a lot of it I didn't even cause. That's the worst part. So I go on that rant to just say, it's hard right now. It's hard for a lot of people right now, everywhere. Not just in New York, not just in New Jersey, like everywhere. Not just in our country, not just in the US, literally everywhere. People are struggling. People are struggling financially. People are struggling mentally. People are struggling emotionally. And we just need to be kinder to each other. And like, you need to like, I was thinking like, what my purpose is here. Like, what am I really here for? And honestly, when I get in front of the camera and I talk, I just start rambling. But I feel like I'm here to spread love and light. I feel like that is my life purpose. That's what I'm here to do. And in me doing that is I'm trying to be kinder to others, even when they're not so kind to me. But listen, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I am a work in progress. I want heavy on the work in progress because listen, she is not complete. But I just feel like as people, we need to be kinder to each other. We need to be nicer to each other. People calling places and being nasty to people, or like going into these establishments and being mean to people. We all trying to work. We all trying to feed our family. We all trying to make a better life for ourselves. And you know, the older people that say, oh, it's easier for us. It's not easier for us. How the fuck is it easier for us? When you were fucking growing up, Gladys, rent was $20 a week. Oh, well, you guys make more money now. Let me do some math. So let me say something. $15 an hour, right? That's the New York minimum wage. I think Jersey is like 11. So let's just say, since I live in Jersey, let's just say 11, right? You make $11 an hour, right? Multiply that by average work week is what, between 35 and 40 hours. Let's just give you a good week, right? Let's just say you work 40 hours that week. So what? That's like what? Like $440, right? I think. I might be off by the number a little bit, but because I don't have an actual calculator in front of me because I'm using my phone to record, but that's like $440, right? Before taxes, right? So now you gotta think about taxes. So taxes is usually like what, 30% of your income. So you probably get what, like $359 after taxes. Imagine that times 4, right? Like 350 times 4 is what, like $1,400 a month. But rent is like $1,400 a month, and that's on the cheap scale. Let's not talk about like these other places. It's charging like $1,650, $1,700, $1,800. Like, it's crazy. And people go, yo, and that shit makes me so fucking mad. Like, even with my job, like, patients call and they're so fucking nasty to people. And it's like, yo, we are all just trying to work to survive. We are trying to survive. And I'm tired of these older people that, oh, you just need to work. You just need to work. We are working. That's the point. The working is the problem. Y'all need to give people more money. Everybody, there is no reason that people cannot have a livable wage. Then you need to lower the cost of living, because you're not giving a livable wage. You need to make the cost of living lower, because I don't understand how these people are even getting away with this shit. And most of the time it be fucking shitty ass places, and they're charging all this fucking money, and they want you to have like, they want you to make like 40 times, but it's like, people, how? It's just like, so like, this is like the type of stuff that I think about in my off days. But I just say all of that to say, y'all, we just need to be kind to each other. We need to be more understanding. And also, the government needs to get their shit together. And I'm just tired of everything. Like, I'm to my TED Talk. Thank y'all for listening to me. Honestly, truly. Even though, like, we're a small community, we are a tribe, okay? Y'all are my people. And I just feel like the world that we're in right now, we in some like Resident Evil shit right now. I swear to God. Like, the zombies are next. Like, they cannot give us anything else. Like, the next is the zombies. You already got a war going on way over there. The zombies are next. I'm just letting y'all know. Pack y'all emergency bags, because at this point I'm about to be out. I'm tired of all this shit. But you know, y'all, like, we just gotta be nicer to each other and more understanding. And it's really hard for a lot of people right now. I don't know what direction this video is gonna go in. I just want to talk about some shit real quick, but that felt good to get all of that off my chest though. I ain't gonna lie, because this is just, I'm just thinking about life lately. So these are the thoughts that come to mind. But just be nice to each other, guys. Be nice. Spread kindness. Spread positivity. Spread light. Don't be a fucking angry, bitter person. Like, because that shit is not cute. We don't like eat. So I'm done, guys. I'm about to go drink me some water and eat some of my stir fry. And I'll see y'all guys next time. Peace, love, positivity. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all already know the vibes. And yeah, make sure you subscribe. Like, actually hit the button. I'm waiting. Okay. I don't believe you did it. But if you didn't, I don't know. Because I watch my analytics. Oh, that kind of wrong. That was kind of a rap. Hey. But good night, guys. And I'll see y'all next time.